Commerce Alive Today presents
Drug Emporium. Drug Emporium has been characterized as a pioneer of the discount drug concept. It was founded in 1977 in Ohio, known as the cradle of deep discount drug retailing by Philip I. Wilbur. Wilbur had by that time advanced to vice president and merchandising manager of Lane Drug Company in Toledo, Ohio. After a 22-year career with traditional chain drugstores, the executive decided to break out on his own. He observed that such deep discount drug stores as FM Distributors in Detroit and Bernie Schulman's in Cleveland had found a profitable retail niche, and he hoped to emulate their success. Using about $80,000 of his own money, $20,000 from his eldest son, Gary, and another $400,000 from 13 private investors, Wilbur leased space in a Columbus, Ohio, strip shopping center and opened his first drug emporium in October 1977. He later characterized the move from Toledo to Columbus as a lucky choice. Shortly thereafter, the Toledo economy sagged due to the downturn in the automotive and glass industries, while the Columbus economy, supported by state government and employment at the Ohio State University, held very steady. Sales during those first months were slow, but with the support of his wife Kathy, son Gary, and colleagues in the industry, Wilbur concentrated on providing top-notch service to the customers who tried the new concept. In a 1989 address to the Newcomen Society, the entrepreneur recalled January 18, 1978, as a turning point for the business. On that day, the state experienced the worst snowstorm in its history, and although the Wilburs dug out and made it to work, the patriarch recounted, "Our hearts were low. To make things worse, the previous Friday we had used up our $500,000 capital and had borrowed $10,000 on our credit line to meet the payroll. I got on the phone to every radio and TV station and told them we were open. They had all discontinued their programming to talk about the storm, so we got a lot of free publicity. A few people started to trickle in four-wheel drive vehicles to buy the 3 C's, cigarettes, condoms and Kotex. After 10 days the streets were cleared and our business took off. Drug Emporium achieved profitability that April and broke even in year 1. This was a notable accomplishment. Analysts noted that it usually took new stores 18 months to 3 years to turn a profit. During the company's second year, Gary Wilbur fine-tuned the retail concept, altering the store layout and products. His changes are credited with making a strong contribution to Drug Emporium's first decade of growth. Much of the chain's early expansion came through franchising, and in 1979 the company established a subsidiary, Drug Emporium Franchise Limited, to train and oversee new affiliates. Gary Wilbur later told Stores Magazine the reasoning behind franchising: "We didn't want to break our management continuity, and at the same time our goal was to get into many cities quickly as possible. Franchising enabled us to do that without the outlays. It would have taken to hit the markets we did without the program." Drug Emporium's first licensee opened in 1979 in Cincinnati, and Wilbur opened his second store in Columbus in 1980. During the next few years franchises opened in Arizona, Dallas, Kansas City, Seattle, Tampa, Atlanta, San Diego, and Indianapolis. Wilbur later noted, "We were on a roll." A $6 million private stock offering in 1983 brought in funds to further this rapid growth. A reorganization merged the two family-owned stores with those of Atlanta franchisee Frank Shanauer as well as the lead franchising operation to form Drug Emporium Incorporated. The infusion of cash paid for new, company-owned stores in Atlanta and Columbus as well as investments in joint ventures. By 1983, the burgeoning chain had 27 franchised stores. By 1984, the deep discount segment of drug retailing boasted about 150 stores and claimed 2% of the chain drug market. The deep discount drugstore movement was concurrent with the expansion of super warehouse grocery stores, membership warehouse clubs, and other off-price concepts that featured brand name products at very competitive prices. The discounter's successes attracted the attention of conventional drugstore chains as well as groceries and supermarkets. From 1985 to 1990, the number of deep discount drugstores nationwide more than doubled, from 313 to 700, to penetrate most large and medium-sized markets. When Drug Emporium raised $17.7 million in a 1988 initial public offering, it boasted 59 company-owned outlets and 78 franchise locations. The fresh cash flow was used primarily to pare down a $24.3 million debt to $3.3 million. During its first year as a public company, Drug Emporium's stock more than doubled and was split 2-for-1. Equally dramatic sales and earnings growth throughout the latter years of the decade disguised a plethora of underlying problems, both within Drug Emporium and in discount retailing in general. Sales increased 69% from $241 million in fiscal 1987 to $406.7 million in fiscal 1989, and earnings more than quintupled, from $1.5 million to $8 million. During that same period, Drug Emporium was the single largest player in deep discount drugs during the late 1980s, but its dominance was both fleeting and deceptive. Competition had intensified dramatically during the mid-1980s, as an unprecedented multi-market price war among and between several classes of retailers emerged, especially in health and beauty aids. In the past, for example, supermarkets had concentrated on groceries while discounters emphasized HBAs. In the 1980s, however, each began to encroach on the other's traditional merchandise strengths. Supermarkets began to aggressively promote HBAs, add pharmacies, and offer bulk packaging, while discounters strove to offer more grocery items and carry a more reliable selection of goods. Purchasing for discount chains continued at the individual store level, but corporate-level purchasing increased steadily. Although many discounters shifted their purchasing strategy, they maintained their low-price policies, thereby squeezing already slim margins. Oversaturation in the market exacerbated these competitive pressures. Chairman Philip Wilbur set his sights on $1 billion in sales and 200 stores for fiscal 1991. Drug Emporium's financial growth came to an abrupt halt that year, however. Although sales increased by more than 25% from $487.9 million to $620 million, profits declined by almost 20% from $8.2 million to $6.6 million. Harlan S. Byrne, writing in Barron's, blamed the slowdown on a stepped-up pace of spending for new stores. The company was striving to take advantage of a national real estate slump by buying up bargain properties, while simultaneously buying out many franchisees. During fiscal 1991 alone, company stores increased from 83 to 115, while franchise locations dropped from 112 to 102. Additions during that period included the acquisition of 6 stores from a struggling Washington, D.C. chain, increasing Drug Emporium's presence there to 14 locations. The chain stopped offering new franchises at this time as well, citing affiliates' general inability to raise capital for growth and expansion. By the end of fiscal year 1992, Drug Emporium had lost $4.7 million. According to a June 1992 Plain Dealer article, inventory counting mistakes, overestimations of gross margins, restructuring charges and store closings were to blame. After fiscal 1993's net loss of $2.6 million, a frustrated board of directors ousted Chairman Philip Wilbur, reassigned Gary Wilbur from CEO to vice chairman and treasurer. He retired in April 1994, and demoted Robert E. Lyons III from president to senior vice president of marketing and merchandising. Board member David Kriegel advanced to chairman and CEO, and took immediate steps to cut expenses, improve operations, and expand management responsibilities and lines of authority. management accepted a 5% across-the-board pay cut to show fiscal leadership. In a December 1993 roundtable interview for Discount Merchandiser, Kriegel acknowledged the saturation of the market in discount drugs and predicted dog-eat-dog competition. He closed 12 underperforming stores, centralized purchasing, accounting, and marketing, implemented automated inventory control, increased grocery offerings and advertising support, and even offered home delivery in limited areas. Drug Emporium launched a new store concept in Heath, Ohio, near the chain's headquarters in 1993. The location featured 4 primary departments: healthcare, beauty care, cosmetics, and house home. The store had extra-wide aisles and Best Buys and snack zones. A new, more upscale decor featured a purple, teal, and fuchsia color scheme and neon signs. Although some competing retailers saw the problems at Drug Emporium and other major discounters as signs that the deep discount drugstores were waning in popularity, the segment did maintain strong showings in certain markets. Drug Emporium, for example, continued to dominate the drugstore market in Atlanta. The chain had 235 stores at the end of fiscal 1994, down from a 1993 peak of 252, and turned a profit of $1.3 million on sales of $749 million that year. After shoring up its franchise network, Drug Emporium indicated that it was once again ready to cautiously explore this avenue of growth. The company declared bankruptcy in April 2001 as a condition of its sale to Snyder Drug of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Various causes have been attributed, with most citing the company's failure to effectively compete with Walgreens, CVS Corporation, and other drugstore chains. Additionally, much time, effort and money were spent attempting to leverage the power of the brick-and-mortar Drug Emporium locations into the failed drugemporium.com website that was seen as the company's future. This click-and-mortar approach, typical of the pre-dot-com bubble mentality of the late 1990s, never fully materialized and served only to deepen the company's economic troubles. The large base of franchise Texas and West Virginia locations, along with company-owned California locations, were sold off, and a single location in Lafayette, Louisiana, to independent owners. Then, on September 12, 2003, Snyder Drug closed all of the remaining corporate-owned stores in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Michigan, Ohio, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Wisconsin due to significant capital infusions and to escape bankruptcy. Although the chain was founded in Columbus, Ohio, it no longer has stores in its home state. Snyder Drug was owned by the Katz Group of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada until its sale to Walgreens in 2010. Drug Emporium currently operates in 2 independently owned store groups run by former franchisors. Discount Emporium Incorporated operates 3 West Virginia-owned stores located in Barboursville and Charleston. Longview, Texas-based Gibson Sales, LP, operates a larger group of 9 stores throughout markets in central and northern Texas, Lafayette and Shreveport, in Louisiana, and Little Rock, Arkansas. The new concept Drug Emporiums feature a health food store within each store. In August 2019, Drug Emporium Lubbock hosted a grand reopening after the renovation and expansion of several of their departments in Texas.
Drug Emporium, shop the sensible way, 'cause our prices are low and it's great to know that we keep them that way.
Drug Emporium's everyday low prices add up to big savings if you're getting set for back to school. Stock up on health and beauty supplies, vitamins, batteries, binders, backpacks, and snacks. It's all in our Drug Emporium Get Set for School flyer at the best prices in town.
Drug Emporium, sensible way to shop.
If you have any fond memories, please indicate it at the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and like.